Inspired and tired, that's the gist of our podcast. Inspired, but we're tired. Should we create or should we take a nap?
Create.
Nap. We should definitely nap.
Chase, we're doing the show.
That's right. Of course we're doing the show. Yeah, no, that's what I said. Yeah. Inspired and Tired with your hosts, Chase and London. Hello. This is Inspired and Tired with your hosts, Chase and London. And if you're new here, this is a podcast all about creativity and how to unlock the creativity inside of you and live a life doing what you love.
I love that. And today I'm so excited. We have an amazing guest
We
here.
have an amazing guest. You know her from This Bitch podcast and the Shank podcast, and she's one of my favorite stand-ups of all time. Please make it loud for Sara Shank. Sara Weinshenk?
Yeah,
I always
Weinshenk.
call you Sara Shank.
No, that's perfect. I'm here.
She's
I'm
here.
I'm inspired and I'm tired.
You did say that you were having a rough morning.
Yeah.
Tired.
Yeah. Because
yeah.
like the sleep schedule of a stand-up doesn't make sense.
No.
Of a creative. I'm like, sometimes I feel like sleeping when other people are awake. And sometimes I feel like being awake when other people are asleep.
Same. I relate to that so much.
I have a more normal
you're a
schedule,
more
I would
normal
say, with
schedule.
sleep. Yes, a nice 7:30 wake up and like 10 o'clock bedtime.
That
Wow.
sounds ideal.
I know.
It's not bad. I didn't used to be like that. I was like up until 2 a.m. because I felt like no one contacts you like late at night, so I could get a lot of work done. And I would stay up crocheting and then wake up later, and that was my vibe. But now, the normalcy is great.
We can't really have that as stand-ups because shows are at night, and then you kind of have like a adrenaline rush. Like, let's say you get home at midnight, you're still not ready to go to bed.
You're like awake as fuck.
Yeah.
I'm like awake thinking about everything that could go wrong in the future. About how I should have done the set differently.
You aren't celebrating your little victories.
No. I mean, I probably should. I'm the type of person, I'll have like a great set, but then like I stutter on one word and I think about that for 5 days following.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I've seen you perform,
Thank
and
you.
there is no stuttering that I have ever noticed. The way you do your comedy, like those one-liners, they just hit, laugh, laugh, laugh.
Hit,
And
laugh,
that's
laugh,
that.
laugh.
I feel
Thank you
like
guys.
It's so unique. Like, I'd love to learn just about how you kind of got started in comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the journey that, London actually asked it perfectly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I wanted to be an actress before stand-up.
When you were young?
Like my whole life.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you from LA?
I'm from LA.
Okay.
And I had kids in my class that would like miss school for auditions.
Because you're from the Valley.
Yeah.
And 818.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And we also, in our school, it was like Stuart Little was in my class.
Right.
The boy from Star Wars was in London's class. Like, it was all these actors
And
in
you're
our
like,
school,
oh
too.
my God, you get special treatment. You get to
They get to
leave.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to leave school. I don't want to be here. I want to be on television. What the fuck is happening? And so my parents were like, okay, well, you have to go to college. And if after college you still want to be an actor, then great.
Very responsible.
And I was like, I want to audition for the real world. Fuck college. No, so then after college, I took an acting class, and my acting teacher was basically like, gave everyone an assignment, and he made everyone write a monologue, but then he looked at me and was like, I want you to write a stand-up set.
Interesting.
Wow. This was your first acting class?
Yeah, this is like the first acting class that I really got into. I did like theater and stuff growing up.
Oh,
but
you
this
were,
was, like,
were you a theater kid, like in the musicals and stuff?
Not fully, because I wasn't that weird. Do you know what I mean? Like, I dipped my toe in it, but I didn't go full theater kid.
I take you as, I feel like you were were you a cheerleader?
No, I like
What was your type?
almost Okay, I used to hang out with I went to an all-girls school, and all my friends, they used to call us the girls who have brown hair who have boyfriends that drive.
Oh, that was your type.
That was my crew.
How many were in this crew?
Like 5.
Oh my gosh.
And we were like sophomores, but our boyfriends were seniors, and we all had like brown hair. And I got along with everyone.
So you were cool.
She was cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool girl. Yeah.
I was cool, but I wasn't cool in middle school. And so I feel like when you're not cool in middle school, it's like formative and it like
You
stays
form a
with you.
personality.
Yeah.
This is why you're funny.
Yeah, I was so uncool for most of elementary school
And so
And middle school.
and middle school.
you came out of your shell. Like at this acting class, were you upset that he had you write stand-up, or were you like, oh, I want to do this?
He was just basically like, you're funny, and if you're not gonna, and you would be doing yourself a disservice if you didn't lean into that.
Wow.
And
His
it was
acting teacher
yeah,
knows what he's doing.
yeah. And then he made me write a set, and then that was the first time I ever did stand up. And then like a week later, I went to the Comedy Store for like a bringer show, and then I just never left.
Do you remember any jokes from that first set you wrote?
I was going to ask the same thing.
Oh my God, I'm so
Come on.
scared. Yes, of course. Okay, I remember at the time Jennifer Love Hewitt had just gone on like a late night show and talked about how she vajazzled her vagina and like put
Really?
like gems on them.
I didn't hear about
So
this.
vajazzling.
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, and she said, and she Swarovski
Crystalled.
crystalled. I feel like the quote was, "I Swarovski crystalled my precious lady, and it shined like a disco ball."
Oh my.
And it really stayed with me, and I think that was like my jumping off point, was talking about how Jennifer Love Hewitt vajazzled her vagina in my stand-up class. And like even just talking about this right now makes me feel so weird.
Well, did you have any stand-ups you looked up to that you were like, oh, this is a set that I can like copy and work
I
from?
loved Seinfeld. I loved Hedberg, but I like didn't understand. I didn't think like I could write in the way that he writes, but then like I could. Then he has a lot of great one-liners too. So then when I saw that was an option, that was helpful to me. Same with like Stephen Wright. He has a lot of one-liners.
So was this stand-up set in the acting class not one-liners? It was just your thoughts?
Oh no, I don't know what it was. And honestly, just talking about it makes me feel
But it
embarrassed.
had to have been good enough that you were like,
I'm going to the comedy store.
yeah, I'm going to the Comedy Store.
I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got laughs, which must have made you feel like, okay,
Yeah,
this is good.
Yeah, I would always get laughs in my acting class, but that didn't feel like it would necessarily translate into,
Right.
like on a stage, but it did. So
Yeah.
Did you go to school, like in college, you mentioned, but did you go to like for writing or for anything?
I went to school, just my major was communications. I grew up writing, and I always loved writing, and I almost was an English major, so all of that stuff kind of just came naturally to me. And then when I went to college, I was going to switch majors to film, and I just didn't. I was like, fuck it, communication.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Chapman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
With our cousin.
Yeah.
Your cousin went there.
He did.
Yeah. Did you know Eric Schumacher?
I don't know Eric Schumacher.
He was not a communications major.
What
I
was
think
he?
he's only said about,
Oh, yeah. He doesn't speak
he does.
a lot.
He does.
He's quiet.
He's quiet.
We love Eric. Shout out to Eric.
Shout out.
Our favorite cousin.
But that's cool though. Like it was something you loved, but not necessarily were pursuing. And then it was able to kind of.
Right. And that's been one of the craziest things about just doing this creative profession, is that, you're kind of trying to keep like an open mind, because you never know what's going to happen along the way. Like, I wasn't planning on being a podcaster.
Right. Well, I don't even think those were a thing.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have another job when you were like first starting out comedy?
Yeah, I had a few different
Oh,
jobs.
let's
hear
it. Yeah.
I was a nanny during the day, which was horrible because it was like 3 boys, and then I would go do stand up at night. So I would be like, and the lady who I nannied for, she tried to make me like her personal assistant / nanny.
Ooh.
So she was having me like, and then she tried to make me like her kid's tutor too.
Oh,
she was
no.
she was like, okay, can you help him with his math? But also, did you preheat the oven? And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I felt like a single mom
With 3 kids.
with 3 boys.
Is we have a very similar story.
Really?
I too nannied 3 boys.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, yeah. So, anyways, I too wanted to start as an actor, and it's all everything you're saying. I'm like, yeah,
3 boys
yeah,
nannying.
3 boys.
That's great birth control.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it really does make you feel like, oh, I mean, being a mom is a full-time job.
No, it's a full-time job. And I'm also like, you can't just have a one-size-fits-all nanny, tutor, personal assistant.
No.
Those are 3 different jobs,
3 different
bitch.
jobs. I know. I had another job where I was the assistant to like for her work, and also the nanny. So
2 jobs.
2 jobs
Right there.
But I got hired. I got the job because I also nannied, and that's how I got the job.
Moms need help is
They
what I'm
need
hearing
help,
from
yeah.
this.
Yeah, moms do need help.
Yeah. So doing
so,
this,
yeah.
nannying, doing stand-up, how often were you going to shows and like doing everything?
When I was in my 20s, my whole life was just like stand up and work. So it was like I would babysit, then I'd go straight from babysitting to do a set, and then I'd go to bed, and then I'd wake up and do it again. And that was kind of just my life for like a few years.
And when did you get? Because eventually you got the the Comedy Store development program. So how did that happen?
What's that?
It's basically when the Comedy Store starts giving you more regular spots so that you can eventually get past and become a paid regular.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Big deal.
Yeah.
That happened after, well, because I started on Kill Tony with Kim. We were on I had already been doing stand-up for like 3 years, but then we were on that podcast together, and then that's how we met a lot of people in the stand-up scene. And then they passed us we went from being Kill Tony regulars to in the development system of the Comedy Store, and it was like this whole thing. And so the Comedy Store is just kind of where I've come up, because I started coming there like it was the first
It was
club
your
I
first
went to.
bringer show.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
first time I ever went up on stage. So
Yeah.
And were you feeling like so nervous? I know Chase, the first time she went up on stage, it's still like drilled in her brain.
yeah,
Well, you were there.
I was there.
I took 5 shots.
Yeah.
you took 5 shots.
I did great.
You did. You took 5 shots and you did great.
But I was just coming out of college where 5 shots was nothing.
normal.
That was normal.
That was just a Tuesday.
yeah. Yeah, 5 shots really didn't do much for me at that point.
Yeah, no, the first time I went up was, I remember like I told a bunch of people to come because it was a bringer show. So that's also really embarrassing because you're like, watch me bomb. I've been doing this a week.
Your first one having to have people come.
Oh, yeah.
bringer
Like that.
show
Oh
thing,
my gosh.
They're so good. They know what they're doing
They
because
do.
you're new and you're gonna bring all your friends because it's a big deal that you're up and you don't realize yet that you need like 10 years under your belt before you want to be inviting your friends.
Right.
Yeah, because then like the first few years, because I grew up here, all of my friends would just come watch me bomb. Mm-hmm. And now I'm like, please don't come to a show. Even though I don't bomb, like that just stayed with me. I mean, and sometimes you bomb.
Well, and also I find when friends come to shows, I care more. Whereas if no friends are in the audience, it's like, it's just a day of work. It's whatever.
Less pressure.
If they don't like me, I don't know them. Their opinion doesn't matter. But if my friends don't like it, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember like one of your shows with your biggest bomb?
Yes. I remember like there was like this bringer show producer guy who was like, he kind of had like the energy of like a used car salesman. He's like, "Hey, you want a headline?" And I'd only been doing comedy for like a few months, and I was like, "Yeah, I want a headline." He's like, "All right, cool. Just bring like 40 of your friends." And I'm like, "Okay, I have 40 friends." So then I like,
especially when you're right out of college, you really do have a lot
I have
of
40 friends, and I'm from here, so I'll just invite all my friends to watch me bomb.
Yeah.
And I headlined. And
where was this?
The Comedy Store Belly Room.
Okay.
Oh my God. See, for me, that's a huge deal.
Well,
a couple months into stand-up and you're already at the Belly Room?
I'm bombing. I just bombed. And I got so drunk before my set. And I just bombed. And it was so bad. I remember all like just crying.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've ever been as upset I was after I bombed when I was headlining.
But it's because
a year into it.
It's because 40 of your friends were there.
That
I feel like
too.
the bomb is worse when you know the audience.
And I just sobbed
Oh.
all night.
Yeah.
That was the biggest bomb I've ever had.
Did it deter you from like going back out there, or were you right up on stage the very next day?
Well, because there's something mentally wrong with me, because most people would be like, I'm good on that.
I'm going to take a break.
I'm like, I'll show them.
That experience I've had, and I can move on with my life.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with me, because after I bombed in front of all my friends and family, I was like, let's do it again.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a good time to pop the champagne then.
Let's pop the champagne.
If you're watching, there's 3 champagne bottles in front of us. And this is the time, I think.
This is the time.
I think we cheers to bombs. Okay.
I think so.
We each get our own champagne.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Okay. I've never done this.
It's just twist.
It's just a twist.
I just watched a video on the proper way to open champagne.
On TikTok.
Yeah. Did that
Like-
come up for you?
Yeah, they're like, you've been doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found it. He was French, so I assume he knows what he's doing.
I get those videos too, but I didn't see the champagne.
It's not on my algorithm.
I got one that was like,
I'm scared.
you've been cooking pasta wrong.
Oh, no.
Really?
Do you remember how to do it
Yeah,
right?
you're supposed to put the strainer inside the boiling water. So when you just take out the strainer and it's ready to go.
You put the strainer inside.
You cook the pasta in the strainer
Oh,
in the boiling
the strainer
water.
stays in for the whole time?
Yep.
That's insane.
No.
We've been doing it wrong.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay. Oh, you guys already
We've
did
popped.
it. Woo!
yeah!
Yeah!
Cheers! Cheers! Cheers!
Oh, we're just drinking. No, right out of the bottle.
We're
Oh,
savages.
you could put it in your cup.
I'll put it in the cup.
She's a lady. We're disgusting comedians.
Oh, my gosh. Well, to bombing, I mean, you
it's
got
bombing.
every time you do it, I feel like you grow.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm sure you don't bomb.
Well, sometimes, when you're trying something new out, sometimes you need a bomb and it'll humble you. It'll be like, I'll be feeling really good, and then I'll do something new, and I'll be like, okay, well, that needs work, and it's definitely a practice.
But the way you respond to bombing, you're such a pro now that it's like it can't really affect you as
it doesn't
much as
affect
it
me
did.
in the same way.
Yeah. Well,
Cheers to that.
okay, cheers to that.
Oh.
Cheers.
We're just cheersing all around.
The next question I'm very curious about.
Oh,
Tell
please,
me
sure.
if I'm
Yeah,
on the right
I'm
path
curious
here.
of the question you're curious about.
So you write these incredible one-liner jokes.
Right.
But the thing with one-liner jokes is they could be like 10 to 20 seconds and you're done. And for writing like a 45-minute set, let's say you're headlining the Belly Room.
Yeah.
where
With
you
40 of
moved
my
on.
friends.
But that process, like I'll write a joke and I'll be like, great, well, that's 1 minute. I have so many more minutes to go. What's your process of writing? I just want to dive into that.
Okay, so with the one-liners, a lot of time the one-liners, there is no process. They just come to me. And it's like weird.
While you're sleeping.
Sometimes it'll be like at 1 a.m. Sometimes it'll be like at 2 a.m.
You just have a thought and you're open to hearing what your thoughts have to say.
Yeah, and it's like a full body. It'll be like, okay, this is already the thing. And I'll be like, oh, okay. It's not like I'm sitting down to write it. It just comes to me a lot of times. And sometimes I'll smoke weed and then it'll happen. Other times it happens a lot at nighttime when I'm trying to fall asleep and I'm like, that's not funny. Just go to bed, bitch. And then I'm like, no, I think it's funny. Like that whole dialogue with myself. And then I'll like wake up in the middle of the night and write it down. And that's how the one-liners have come to be. And like at first I didn't really know what to do with them because it's not a normal set. Right. You know what I mean? Because it goes so fast.
Right.
So then I just figured like the way that I've been doing it is I put the one-liners up top because it just gets people's attention in the beginning and it just moves freely. And then I do the longer sets longer into my set. But then sometimes I'll mix in one-liners, like because I have a lot of one-liners, so sometimes I'll do like a set and then I'll remember I forgot a one-liner and I'll put it in just because they move so fast, so they're good to have as like transitional things or just to get everyone back.
I love them at the beginning of the set too, like you're saying, because truly it's just like you laugh after every single line and it makes people think like quick with you. Like you have to stay up. You can't like let your mind doze off or else you'll miss the joke.
Right. So like I try to do it up top to get people up top. And then normally once you get them up top, they're more willing to listen to you like longer.
That's very smart.
So I get them up top with the one-liners and then I do the longer bits inside.
And is the longer bits the same process? It just comes to you, or what? How do you find your creativity for writing?
The longer bits are weird because normally what happens is I'll just be like driving or having an experience and it'll be like something will really just like stay in my head and I'll keep thinking about it like a lot. Like like coleslaw. I was like, I hate it. Why is it a side? And then I'm like, why do I keep having these intrusive thoughts about fucking coleslaw? Like, am I supposed to do something with this? Like, I don't know. I'll just leave it alone. And then I'm like, no, like, there's something in coleslaw that I don't like. And, like, I need to talk about it. That type of stuff. Like, if I have a full body, normally it's like a full body, like, yes. Like,
you know when it's time to write the joke about.
Yeah. Or it's like something that just I keep thinking about. Like meatloaf and coleslaw,
food
or like
seems to be a topic.
Sometimes it's food, sometimes it's just like stuff that like everyone. I have a lot of observational jokes, so it's like if I'm interacting with something that most people have interacted with, like coleslaw, then I'm like, okay, well this is something that in like how Seinfeld would be like, okay, like he has like his junior mints joke or whatever.
I don't know his junior mints joke.
I don't know it off. Like he has a joke about junior mints, but like something like that, where it's like you know that it's something that most people have seen, and you're experiencing it, and for some reason it's hitting you different.
Yeah.
Then that's like a joke.
And
I love that because it is so relatable. And like you want to connect with as many people as you can. So
Right. So sometimes it's that, and then other times it's like I'll have experiences, like dating experiences.
One of the comedian's favorite topics.
And it's just like I'm just dating for material at this point. Not love.
That's a good way to do it.
I know.
Is this the junior mints joke?
No, this is the episode of the TV show.
Okay.
Seinfeld, if anyone isn't familiar.
Yeah, Seinfeld.
You were a Seinfeld over Friends gal?
I never got into Friends, and I got kind of into Seinfeld, but not fully. I was more like, I just like appreciated. I remember like there was this thing that Jerry Seinfeld did. I think it was with the New York Times. It was talking about how he structures his jokes. Have you ever seen that? It was like
pull it up.
Yeah.
Please.
And that
pull it up. Would you be a doll?
How to write a joke. Yeah.
Oh.
This.
There he is.
Are we allowed to listen?
Sure.
This helped me when I was starting.
I know you think people are going to be interested in this, but they're not.
That's great.
Yeah. So
I'm so fascinated by that.
Yeah, like I remember watching this and being like, oh, so I could do it about anything. And then like, and that's how, and then I like, it makes me feel less crazy when I'm just like driving around like coleslaw. Coleslaw, like toothbrush, like what?
But he uses these yellow pads. Now,
Yes.
that I feel like that's my goal,
Is to use a yellow pad.
to get to this yellow pad.
Level?
Take 2 years to
Office
write a
Depot.
joke.
Go and grab one.
Yeah, but he spent 2 years on a Pop-Tart joke. I mean, wow.
He did say some of them he spends like a day on.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's really been working.
Well, sometimes like, and like I relate to that because sometimes you are doing a joke and it works and it works and it works, and then you try something different and then the joke just gets so much better. And you're like, and if you think about all the years you've spent on that joke.
That's true.
Is it like sad almost then to have to change it because you're like, this has been working, this is what I want?
No, because when you change it and it works, it's like such a good feeling. There's no greater feeling than trying to figure out a joke that's like, it's working, but you're not as excited about it. And then you try something new and it fucking works. And you're like, I am good at my job.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You seem very like intuitive, like you listen to your gut, you let things change. And I feel like a lot of times with creatives or people that want to go into a creative field, it's hard to like trust yourself and just know that it'll work out. And is that something that you've always kind of just been like?
Okay. No. That is something that I think I have been working on my entire adult life, because I don't think that there was enough emphasis on trusting your gut when I was in school or like coming up in creativity or any of that. Like I feel like that's more of like a new age way of thinking, and I think that your intuition and trusting yourself is a really important part of creativity. And that's just something that I've had to figure out, I guess, from like being in nature. I'm like a hippie. I live in Topanga. Like I spend a lot of time outside. I do meditations. I do all that type of stuff. And I think that helps, because just having like a strong sense of self and center to come back to, I think is like an anchor when you're creative.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're definitely like someone that's into the LA woo woo.
Yeah, I'm an LA woo woo.
But me too.
Yeah.
Are you, London?
Yeah, I mean, not as much.
Not as much,
but of course I like trust the universe. I try to, believe that everything happens for a reason and all the
Is this an
all
LA
the things.
thing? Is this because we're from LA, or is this?
I think there's just more people maybe around us that have that sort of like
lifestyle
outlook on lifestyle.
Well, yeah, I also just think that like, okay, because growing up it was just like you were Jewish, you were Catholic, you were whatever, but now there's like this whole spiritual movement that's different. And I do think that obviously if you're pursuing something creative, you have to have some level of trust that you're on the right path. Because it's
or
great.
Also, why the heck are you doing any of this? You feel like a crazy person sometimes.
You feel crazy.
Yeah.
And so in order to stop feeling crazy, you just have to blindly trust.
Yeah. And London and I mean, starting since The Secret came out in 2006.
Yeah, when I went to college,
we were
oh my gosh,
obsessed with vision boarding and putting what we want out there.
I'm into all of this.
So when you started your stand-up career, were you doing a lot of visioning what you wanted and what has come true? And
I would visualize a lot in the shower. Because
that's a great time to do it.
Yeah, Brody Stevens, who I was really close with, he was a comic who's died now, but he told me that he visualizes a lot in the shower. So I would visualize in the shower a lot.
Wow.
Because
just feeling
just I'm driving to the lot for my show, just fully doing it and just going for it and not holding back at all. And I do think that helps. But I think the issue with the visualization and the manifestation stuff is that it takes time. And sometimes it's you don't see the results very fast. So you're it's not working. But it's no, it's working. You just have to trust.
Yeah, and they always are you went to 7 interviews and the 8th one would have been the one, but you gave up on the 7th. Like
Right.
you have to keep going.
Yeah, or also like the way that I've heard of it, the analogy I've heard is kind of like pregnancy. It's like, oh, you're pregnant for 9 months. You don't see the baby, but you trust that the baby's still there. You're not so sometimes
It's still happening, but you're not experiencing that.
And it's like,
Yes.
I believe this was Wade, what's his name?
Wayne Dwyer.
Wayne Dwyer.
Yeah, I love him.
I think I've heard him say it, or it was like Eckhart Tolle, but I've heard that analogy. Like you just trusting that everything's going on without you having to do anything.
Yeah.
It's just happening.
I love the image on the screen right now. If it's just like someone digging for diamonds and he's so close.
Oh, he's so
and then
close.
walks back defeated.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
But you have to, having that blind trust is a bit crazy. Like,
Well, it is crazy, and then you have to have it. You have to actually have it. So it has like to the point where people are like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, because also like the points of contrast. For example, like my family's really supportive, but they're always like, before I was deep into it, they'd be like, do you have a plan B? And I'm like, no, I don't have a plan B. And those points of contrast helped me sharpen my vision for like what I wanted. So instead of using those things that like are pushing you away from it, sometimes you can use those points of contrast to push you closer to what you want, to help you sharpen your vision. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like okay, like I think that they're not trying to be negative, but to me it's negative, and I'm not going to hear it, and I'm going to use that as fuel to like pursue what I want to do.
because a lot of people hear that and go, okay, you're
I'll
right.
give
I'll
up.
give up. You're right. I'm crazy.
It's not working.
And you're like, no, I'm going to get so clear on what's happening that it's.
Yeah, so clear, and like it comes down to just like trusting yourself so much. And like I think the best way to do that for me personally is like I will go outside and like visualize what I want my life to be like.
How long do you usually spend if you do something like that?
Like 45 minutes. Like I'll just go out. Normally I hike outside. That's kind of why I moved to the canyon. And then in that time, like I'm just with myself, and like sometimes I'll sit down and I'll have a meditation, and that'll be really helpful. And then other times I'll just like walk through nature. And I feel like being in nature and expressing gratitude and like, okay, I love this tree, like it's so pretty, like being in that and also practicing gratitude for the things that are going well, I feel like helps.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I'm listening, and you two seem like your processes, I feel like you have a lot of trust that like your next joke is going to come when it comes, and I trust that. And when you have a project, you're very good at just like, I know I'm going to be able to do it because there's a deadline and it has to happen. And I think I've been having a hard time with like trusting that the process will happen when it's time. I'm always like, I have to write a new joke. I have to. And like that, I don't know if you ever experienced that, but it seems you're more just like trusting it'll come when it comes.
Yeah, because when I'm like, I have to write a new joke like that, it feels unnatural. It feels like I'm not in flow.
Right.
Whereas like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go outside, I'm gonna clear my mind, and if something comes to me, then cool.
Yeah. But do you do that? That's your process, is going outside in nature. Is that like a routine you do, or it's random that you do that?
I try to work out every day, and I try to work out in nature as much as I can. Like I don't have a gym membership. I do it a lot outside.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like the timing of nature, just like I like syncing with nature in that way. I feel like it helps with creativity a lot.
So your workout every day is your time with yourself.
Yes.
And syncing with.
That is so
beautiful.
nice.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Gonna try to get a cheers as much as possible.
Right.
We love
We're
the cheer.
celebrating the victories.
Yes. So yeah, I like being outside, and yeah.
When was it when you went from nannying and doing stand-up, what was the transition to like being a full-time comic?
Okay, so
Good question.
So like this is a testament to just like doing what you love, and if you just fully like align with your interests, then things emerge. So for example, like I smoke weeds, and I remember my family being like, you are not gonna smoke weed for like a living. I was like, yeah, I think I am. Like, I think I'm actually gonna like get paid to smoke weed. And they were like,
That's
no,
not a job.
they're like, that's not a job. Like, what's happening? And then like all this weed would just like come to their house, because for a second I had to go to my parents to save money, so I was living with them. And I would just be getting like boxes of like weed, and my mom would like be like, Sarah, you need a special Tupperware. The entire upstairs smells like weed. I hate this. Like da 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 da. And then like the weed companies have money, so I started making money, and that helped me transition out of babysitting. Because
Wait.
Can you explain that a little more?
Smoking weed?
Yeah.
Can you explain how you made money smoking weed?
Yes. Okay. So
I feel like a lot of people are
did
going
I
to want to
go
hear
from
that.
0 to 100?
Yeah.
Sorry,
The boxes started
champagne.
coming.
People are dying to know how to make money smoking
no.
weed.
So like it was around this time, it was like weed had just newly become legal in LA, and there was a lot of brands that were looking for like ways to market cannabis. And so Kim Congdon, who I have This Bitch podcast with, and we did like a bunch of different web series like Stone Science, and then I had like a digital series on Comedy
Were
Central.
these web series you created?
Yes.
And so, you were just,
And
because
then-
that's a whole other creative side than stand-up, but you
Yeah.
just kind of felt inspired to do.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never seen this.
Yeah. This was like one of the first things that Kim and I did
Was this your
together.
brainchild that you guys created, or someone came to you and was like, I want you guys
We
to
created it.
Wow.
Were they scripted?
No. So basically the format is it's us getting high and doing a science experiment with different comedians. And
I
so
love it.
How fun.
Yeah.
Before we would pick like the project, and then we would pair it with the comic, but nothing was written.
How
in
fun.
advance.
This was
This
how-
was a
when
while
was
ago.
this?
This was like probably 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know. Time's not real. 2018.
Yeah, 2018.
5 years ago.
2018. Okay.
Yeah. So just doing different stuff like that. Also, I had a show called Shanks for Smoking on Comedy Central.
I
And after I
remember
had
that.
that, my parents were like, okay, I guess this weed thing is fine.
And you created Shanks for Smoking?
Yes.
And like pitched it to Comedy Central?
Yes.
Can
Oh
you
my
tell us
gosh.
about that process? Because that's amazing.
The pitching process?
Like, yeah, how you decided to come up with this concept and then how it ended up on Comedy Central.
Yeah, so I started realizing that there was a need for people who are creative who would push cannabis, because a lot of people who are professionals won't push cannabis because it doesn't align with like their work
Right.
or whatever. They can't just be like, I'm getting high. Right?
Yeah.
So I started to realize that there was a need for marketing in the cannabis space, and it was something that I already did, so it was easy, kind of.
You already smoked weed?
I
you
already
mean?
smoked weed, and it was
It was part of your like brand.
it was part
and
of
your
my
persona.
lifestyle, and
Right.
there wasn't really like that many like girls doing it besides like Broad City.
Yeah.
And then so Comedy Central was like, we want to create a weed smoking show. Can you come up with it? And then
And they came to you.
they came to
Wow.
me, and then
Wow.
I helped like design the set. It's supposed to be like pink and purple, like
It's so cute.
it's very cute. So yeah,
How long did you do that for?
I did like, I think it was just only 7 episodes. It was a digital show. It was fun. Yeah.
And you got paid for smoking weed.
Yeah, I got paid for
There you
smoking
go.
weed. And then like
Ding.
and then the thing that like really helped me be able to like support myself and stuff is just like the podcasts and being able to get ad sponsors. Some of them are cannabis related, some of them aren't. Those types of things.
And when all this happened, your parents were like, okay, I guess smoke as much weed as you want.
Yeah. Well, because I'm not like in a vegetable like state, not doing anything. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's like when you think of like a stoner, and like I think, and I understand why as a parent you'd be like, you know, there's like this connotation of like loser who just is like smoking weed and not doing anything.
But you're literally doing the exact opposite. You're like building a business and getting paid.
Yeah.
From this.
Comedy Central's coming to you.
Right.
Yeah. So that was really fun and really cool.
And you were able to move out of your parents' house.
I moved out of my parents' house.
That's great.
That's something I feel like with you, with yarn, everyone's like, did you make a career out of yarn?
Yeah.
And you guys both
but it's
literally were like,
I
what
love
you
it
love.
more than anything. It's like the number one thing I love to do is crochet. So like when you follow something you're truly passionate with, good things do organically start to happen.
Yeah. And it's also like, people want to see people who are excited about what they're doing. Like, it feels like play and it's fun for them. You know what I mean? Like, you want to watch someone smoke weed and play make-believe with their friends. Like, who wouldn't want to watch that?
Yeah, and it feels like this has all happened very organically, and I might be wrong, but it seems like there hasn't been a lot of stress surrounding this career. Like, it feels like it's been
well, I mean, like, it might look like that.
yeah, tell us.
But like this whole show, I remember like the making of this show, like before this show happened, I was in the shower visualizing this show all of the time.
Wow.
Like, and I was just hiking visualizing this show.
Did you, when you visualize, do you have like one specific moment that you like visualize the same thing then every day for a bunch of days in a row, or do you switch it up?
I just like try to really lock into the feeling of what it feels like to have a show and be like, oh, okay, I'm so grateful. It feels like security. It feels like all of these things. Like, honestly, there is a level of mental illness that goes into manifestation.
Just a little
agree.
delusion, but they
it goes
say
a
you
long
have
way.
to be delusional.
Yeah, but you
manifest.
can't even call it a delusion because then it won't even happen. You
Right.
just have to be like, you have to like blindly.
Yeah, you can't call it a delusion
Like-
or it won't happen.
Like Kim and I, when we text each other, we'll be like, our movie's doing great.
Oh my gosh, I love
Our
it.
movie. But if someone were to read it, they'd be like,
Well, okay, London and I, back when we lived in New York,
Yeah.
London set up this thing on Gmail where you would get
An email every
Every
day from yourself, but like saying something, you know,
So
that thing you
mine-
want to come through your inbox.
What was yours?
Mine was that I had a yarn line.
And you did.
I
and then
did.
mine was that I got booked on a show. And that while I was getting that, I like booked a pilot. So it was
Yeah.
every morning being like, oh, I booked it.
Oh, we got it.
Oh, you have a yarn line. So we too are in that delusional.
Definitely.
but I do think there's something to that.
Me too.
Like, you
I
have to-
believe the science of it all.
Yeah, I believe that too.
We did this other book before. I forget the name, but it
E
was like
squared.
yes, E squared.
Oh, and
It
I have a
was
story
fun.
of that
It was
too.
like this experiment book that like would prove to people that the universe is real with like what you put out, you get back. And you would need, I just remember one
That's
was
the
like,
one.
you see butterflies today.
and then you see there was a butterfly in like a movie theater, right?
Right. There were like every week or every day, every chapter would have something else.
What?
And it happened every time.
I want to get this
Okay,
book.
Yeah.
one of the
Yes.
experiments was to like manifest something tangible, like a cup of coffee.
oh my gosh, your robes.
My robes. I'm gonna tell the
Chase,
robe story.
Tell the robe story.
I'm gonna tell the robe story.
I want to hear.
Okay, so the experiment was like pick something that's like very tangible in your head, and I said that I'm gonna get a free robe, and then you have to do the stuff. So like
it
every
tells
day,
you like what to do.
Okay.
there was this Planet Blue. We like my parents lived
A
close
store.
to a Planet.
I
a
know
store.
Planet
Yeah.
Blue.
And
They must
there-
sell very fancy
There was
robes.
a robe.
They do have
on,
very
there was-
fancy.
there was a robe on one of the mannequins, and I would walk by it every day and visualize myself in the robe. Like, I'm so grateful to have this robe. Wow. And so I did that, like visualizing robes and being so grateful for this robe. And the year of 2014, when I say I got so many free robes,
No.
Robe.
I've had to
robe.
give them all away. It was so many robes.
so many.
I was like,
No.
I was in a play.
I would say at least 12. Like
That is my
it was
dream.
like 7 robes that I got for free that year. I ended up like I got robes as gifts, like on my birthday and Christmas. Coincidentally, I got
Not coincidentally, because you
No.
manifested
right, but I
the
wasn't
robes.
like, hey, I want a robe. They just got me the robe.
Right.
I was working an event, and in the gift bag was a free robe, like that I got to take away. I was in a play, and they give you robes and slippers, and like just for me, they were like, you can keep the robe. Like everything, I just kept getting so many robes.
Like, okay, so then sometimes it feels like when you're manifesting, it feels like God's a comedian in some ways.
Oh,
you're
the biggest trickster.
comedian. We always say it.
We do.
The biggest
a
comedian.
cosmic joke.
Yes.
Like, I'm like, okay.
Oh, you heard me, but that's not quite what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be like, you want a TV show? Oh, okay. You'll be background in this, like,
Yeah.
You have to be so specific.
Yep.
Or
Yeah.
the universe will make a little joke out of it.
Yeah, no, for sure. There was this woman at the airport recently who was being really mean to her daughter. She was really scary. And I told Kim, we were about to get onto the flight, I was like, this woman's scaring the shit out of me. I think she's like not nice to her daughter. We're like watching her.
Yeah.
About to board the flight. And then it was time to board the flight. And of course, I got sat right next to her. And I'm like, of course I got sat next to her because God's a fucking comedian.
A comedian.
A comedian.
That's very true. And it aligns with our energy too, though. Like if we're...
You have to be positive.
If you're
and, like,
in
put
the
out
positive
love and...
state, then you'll attract the positive stuff. But if you're
Right.
like, I don't like this person in it, and your energy is aligning,
Right.
you align.
Yeah. I believe
Yeah.
in like the vibrational.
Me too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We do too.
We have words that higher the vibration. Mine is feather.
Mine is
Because when I think of feathers, I just like light up.
And mine is tea, because when I
Tea,
think of
yeah.
tea, I get so happy.
I have a teapot tattoo.
Oh,
I did that on a whim. Do you guys have tattoos?
No.
Where's your teapot tattoo?
On my side. I got that on
Oh, that's a great
You have
spot.
the teapot and then the butterflies.
the butterflies,
anything
which
else?
were originally, this was an 818 tattoo, and then
I remember.
life happened.
You covered it up.
I covered it up because the 818 was ugly. Was so
Well, you felt
deeply
it looked
ugly.
like a brand.
Now
like
it's a Kendall
branded.
Jenner tequila brand.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
exactly. It looked like two misshapen snowmen playing table tennis.
You had a lot of time to look at it. And
I was just like, I hate this. I made the worst choices. It was horrible. And so, yeah,
Well,
then I covered
speaking
it.
of your tattoos, and like, I just feel like you have the most incredible style.
I was going to just ask that.
You really put yourself together so well, and style is also a form of creativity. And I want to hear about like,
Where did this sense of personal style come
Yeah.
from? It is fantastic.
it is fantastic.
I was like looking through your Instagram too today,
Oh my
and I
gosh.
was like, "These looks, are
Oh my
you
gosh,
kidding?"
Thank you. No, I've always loved fashion. There was a time in college where I thought I was going to be in fashion, and I got a job in an office in Bloomingdale's.
Oh.
That was like the studio services office.
Sounds
where all
very
of the
glamorous.
stylists would come through, and I was like, okay, cool. And then I realized that being a stylist is just like holding a bunch of shit and like dragging it and like
Putting clothes back for people.
yeah, and I'm like,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is not glamorous at all. Like, I'm not into
You
it.
want the stylist
I
to
want the
help.
cute looks.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I've always just loved fashion. And like, when you're a comic and you're struggling, you can kind of make it fun because you're like, okay, I'll just go thrift something, and then maybe. And there's no greater feeling than when you thrift something and it looks really fucking cute and it was like less than $20.
I
Yeah.
love when people compliment my pants when I got them at Goodwill.
I know.
It's like where
I have a problem though. I say I'm always honest about where I got something, and
I do that too.
I was in Christina P's like green room before her special taping, and she had like all these big like her stylist was there and the hairdresser and blah blah blah, and they were like, "Oh, cute jacket," and I said, "Goodwill,"
they
and
didn't like it.
and I just think they were like, "Ew." Like I just
No,
think it was.
I don't think so.
And then I have another jacket that I got in the Lost and Found, and someone
Lost and Found.
and someone goes, "Nice jacket." I go, "Lost and Found," and I just need to be better at being like, "Thank you." I don't need
Yeah,
to
there you
tell
go.
them.
No,
it's
I
from
do
the
that
Lost
too.
and Found.
I'll be like, Forever 21, $9.99
Yeah.
clearance.
You can't help but share a good deal. I mean, I'm sorry.
It's like a tick. I do that too. It'll be like $1. I used to go to the.
Don't worry, I didn't spend much at all.
Yeah. Well, because if someone compliments me, I'm like, maybe they want to know where they can get it.
Oh.
I assume that they want the same thing that
I do
have,
too.
and so then I have to give them the full backstory.
Oh, and I assume they're like, wow, is she made of money? And I have to be like, no,
Lost
I
and
don't
found.
know why I have that.
The lost and found is so funny.
So funny. When you get ready to go up on stage, like, did you go through a time where you were trying to try out different looks on stage? Because, like, being a girl and the comedy world, I feel like that's something you think about.
Always, for a very long time, and I still tend to go this way, I love, like, a cutesy look. I love, like, a Peter Pan collar or, like, a bow. Because I feel like, and maybe this is crazy, but I feel like there's something to this. Like, a girl with, like, a bow isn't gonna fuck your boyfriend necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, she's cute, she's harmless. She's not
right.
Versus, and like, you want everyone to be on your side when you're going on stage.
Yeah.
So I think about like crazy shit like that.
Yeah. No.
Bows.
But
Bows.
also, like, so we've been discussing the artist way on this podcast.
Have you heard of it?
I like morning pages.
Yeah,
and
and all
stuff.
that.
I know about it, but I haven't done it.
Well, there's certain exercises, and like one of them is like, pick a color that makes you happy and wear it, and like
wear
or
your,
like your nails. And so like I feel like by you like having your nails are so adorable
Thank you.
that you can like it just like you wear stuff that's making you happy, and in turn it like
projects on stage.
yeah, or just in your life in general.
Yeah, like I wear things that make me so happy. And if you were to look at my closet, you'd be like, whoa, this bitch has a lot of crazy patterns and stuff.
But that's so fun.
It is
It's
fun.
like one of a kind pieces. No one's dressing like you. No one's doing what you do. Like it's amazing.
fun.
I watched a video from this drag queen, and they were asking him about his personal style, and he said, if you want to have a personal style, you have to get to know yourself. And it's about knowing what you love and like just get to know who you are, and then having a style will come naturally.
Yeah.
And I feel like you know who you are so well.
I
And-
see it. I'm like, yes, that. Like, if it's bright, if it's bold, I probably want it.
Yeah.
Do you ever do any like sewing or like switching up of pieces, or do you just keep them as is?
I wish. If I could sew, it would be over. If I could sew, I'd stop stand-up.
Be over.
I'd be a
seamstress.
designer.
Be
I'd be
over.
like, bye. No,
Well,
yeah.
that leads into our favorite
It-
question to
It
ask.
does actually.
Do you want to ask?
Sure. So
It's part of the artist way too.
part of the artist way. One of our favorite questions is, if you could live 5 different lives, what
Five.
in an alternate universe.
universe?
Like,
so we're
okay.
not switching it up
You-
this go.
Like
Okay.
you can say you're an Olympic swimmer. Like it's in a completely different
Definitely not
universe.
that.
No.
Okay, but what you would, I think that's one of yours.
At some point, I'm
some
sure
Olympic
it was.
one.
Yeah.
So yeah, what would your 5 alternate lives be if
Okay.
you weren't a stand-up?
5 alternate lives.
Yes.
Okay, designer.
Great.
Clothing designer. I feel like a European mother. Like I'm in Italy, the children are at my feet. I'm in some type of robe / gown.
Robe.
There's wine, like
Oh, how
yeah.
nice.
That sounds
European mother.
wonderful.
Lovely in Italy.
Okay, European mother designer.
Oh, not like
like-
Stragagnona.
No.
Just immediately thought of Stragagnona.
No,
Really?
in my head, I'm picturing Angelina Jolie.
Me
like,
too. Like an influencer.
I'm eating grape leaves. Like what? Not that. That's not.
That is
goals.
not glamorous.
That is not glamorous. Italian mother.
Glamorous
Yes.
Italian.
Yes,
There we
mother.
go.
Yes, I'll breastfeed randomly in my
Right.
robe. Like. Okay, so
Okay.
Italian mother designer. Now
This is
these-
much better.
This is more like it.
Yeah, this is.
But I know what you're picturing. I see the house behind you in
and
the
there's
vineyard.
like a cheese platter that I didn't
Yeah,
make.
charcuterie all over.
Like
yeah.
I'm breastfeeding by a cheese platter. You're like, what's happening? Okay. So now three
Three more.
3 more.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It is. It really
But
gets
it's
you
fun.
to think. Anything.
Like, can you
Anything.
have like you don't have to question your abilities.
No.
You just
You don't question any abilities.
Okay,
This is an alternate
Okay,
universe.
I think a tattoo artist
Ooh.
Oh.
would be like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
You see that phoenix on that man's back? I did that.
So you're saying you'd have like great artistry skills in this life too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be cool to be like a female tattoo artist who was like really good.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
It's like
Right?
how I know female skateboarders are just so
yeah.
cool.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then obviously like some type of musician.
Oh, obviously.
Obviously.
Any particular instrument or lead singer?
Lead singer, guitar. I got the outfits, the
Yeah.
whole energy.
Oh, wow. And are you an indie artist or like mainstream
No,
pop?
I am like mainstream pop. I have all of the
Katy
shoes.
Perry.
Oh, that's great.
Katy Perry's shaking, Chase. Katy Perry could never, bitch.
I could see it.
Okay, so wait, are those all of the things?
That was
I think it's 4, but
one more.
one more.
They're good.
Make it good. Make it count.
Shit. Make it count. The
This is where we
four.
get the weird ones.
right.
Always.
This is when it gets good.
Pet psychic.
Oh.
Ooh. I have a friend who's a pet psychic.
No.
Yeah.
Who?
Who?
It's when I went to the manifestation retreat in Greece.
That's
She
where
was
you
That's where you meet them. That checks out.
Okay, so my friend called me and she's like, I went to a pet psychic, and in my head I was like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm a woo-woo person. And then she starts telling me what the pet psychic said, and then I was like, can I get her number?
Yeah.
Do you have a pet?
I do.
Okay.
It's like shared custody of
I
a dog.
have a shared custody of a dog.
Oh my gosh.
situation. So I'm like, I need to know. I need
Which
to get
parent
which
the dog
parent do you
likes.
want to be with?
yeah.
Yeah.
You want to come to mommy's house or
Other mommy's house.
other mommy's house?
That would be a really fun job. You just get
A
to be
pet
with
psychic. You're just
Yeah.
like, okay, so I'm feeling like, yeah. So Mittens is gonna need for you to give her more liver snacks, and then you're like, have a good day. That'll be $200.
I know it's so
I'm
hard
blown
to
away.
know.
That's a job.
It's so hard to know if they're making it up.
They got to be.
I
don't
thought that they
know.
were
I don't
making it
know.
up,
They
but
might
then
not be.
But then my friend came and she said like the most specific things about her dog, and I was like, okay,
It's got to be real.
it's gotta
They
be
tap into the soul of the dog.
Oh my
real. Maybe.
Oh, maybe.
But
Or
sometimes
it could be
these
made up.
psychics, they'll have you by the balls.
Oh, anytime I've gone to a psychic, I believe. But then I
I know.
leave and then I start reflecting. I'm like, I don't know.
All these psychics have been like, one psychic told me that this one guy was my husband, and that really made me waste 4 years of my life, because I was like,
The psychic said.
the psychic said, and then I was like, okay, well, let's not force the prophecy.
Right.
Let's just be cool.
Uh-huh.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
they
tricky
really
thing
mess
about
you up
psychic.
with love.
Yeah.
A psychic and love.
They see like one letter. It's like the letter J.
Yeah.
That's your man.
And
I
then you're
went to
like-
a psychic like my junior year of college, and I was like, should I leave college and just pursue acting in LA, or should I stay in school? And the psychic said to stay in school, which I feel like is just a safe answer that you of course, right?
I mean,
I
I
mean, if
probably
she-
suggest.
one psychic. Yeah, of course.
Staying
You're gonna
in
be like,
school.
The
stay-
psychic's not going to
stay
say
in school.
drop out of school.
but what if she did?
That's how you know she's real.
That's how you know.
Drop out.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Well,
Those are fun lives. I really have like so loved hearing about your manifestation life
Thank
and
you.
process.
Me too.
I didn't quite expect it so much coming in, so it's really
Yeah.
amazing.
I know. And Sarah, you're like truly, since I moved back to LA, have been just someone I look up to so much.
I love that.
You're
I love
such
you so
a role model
much.
to me, and thank you so much for coming
Yeah,
on the
of
pod.
course. Of course.
I'm gonna manifest in the shower every day.
Me
yeah.
too.
Visualize in the shower, guys.
Visualize in the shower. Do you guys have any champagne
I
left?
drank my entire.
I have
First of
so
all-
much left.
First of all, I do this thing I've noticed.
Where you
'Cause I'm like,
drink.
I don't drink. And then I come and I drink the whole champagne. I'm like, I'm a stoner. It's fine. And then it's gone, bitch.
Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Where
And-
can
yeah.
everyone find you?
You can find me at Princess Shank on Instagram and Twitter. You can subscribe to my Patreon, patreon.com/Sara Weinshenk, and then Shank every Wednesday and this bitch every Monday.
I love
Amazing.
it.
Yay,
I want
yay.
to know. I know we're done, but what is on your Patreon?
Patreon is just like bonus content, behind the scenes videos, those types of things.
So fun.
Yeah.
Yay! And everybody make sure to go see Sara live because she is so funny.
Come see a live show. I have all my show dates on my Instagram.
Perfect.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. Bye.